Pastor, thanks so much for talking about the faith of this week and how those things impacted not only the people there in Charleston, but the whole Christian faith. For people that don't understand how, I think this one young lady, wasn't a young lady, but one lady that had one of her relatives killed in that attack, actually forgave, she forgave, and she forgave him and told him that he was forgiven. For people that don't understand that about the Christian faith, there's a book that you can get. So here in Georgetown, over in Lifeway Christian Book Center, it's called the Bible. Go ahead and get that and read that, and you kind of understand why we can do that. But anyway, that's it. That's all I'm doing that. Okay, Juneteenth. It was on June 19th, 1865, that Major Gordon Granger landed in Galveston, Texas, with the news that the war ended and all those that were enslaved are now free. Now, this act came a full 2.5 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which was effective January 1st, 1863. Now, people say, well, that's 2.5 years after other people were emancipated. And there's probably as many theories as there are people in this room as to why it was 2.5 years. This is Richard. that there wasn't any Union troops here to enforce that proclamation, that executive order. And if you've been in Texas more than 15 minutes, you kind of understand we do stuff a little differently. Even sometimes when it's not expedient to do the right thing. But what I want to really talk to you today is about a love story. This love story is a love story that you ought to make a movie about. It's about two slaves. One's named Jim, the other one's named Winnie, the last name is Shane. Jim was born in 1811 in the state of Kentucky. Winnie Bush, at the time, was born in 1814 in Tennessee. They both were slaves of a man by the name of Rollins, Isaac Rollins, on his plantation in Wayne County, Mississippi. Now, after Jim and Winnie were married, Rollins sold Winnie and her 3 children, which Rollins had fathered, by the way, to a family in Texas, Newton County, Texas. And you know where Newton County is? Newton County is like right next to Louisiana, just before you get to Houston. So, needless to say, Winnie and Jim were just heartbroken. As anybody would be. You married somebody, you love somebody, you share thoughts and hopes and aspirations with. And so now, Winnie sold 400 miles away in Texas. So the thought there would be that they would never see each other again. But Jim Shankle obviously was a different kind of guy. He took his vows very seriously. So Jim decided to run away to be with his wife, Winnie. Now, Jim understood that if he was caught, in those days, the penalty could be very severe. He could be hung, he could be taken back and hung. He could be killed a number of different ways. He was property. So he understood that. So because of that, Jim traveled at night 90 street signs, no paved highways, no stop and goes on the way, no GPS systems, none of that stuff. Foraged for food, and he swam the Mississippi River. And he later swam the Sabine River as well. This trip was 400 miles, walking or swimming at night. And put that in perspective. Also, at that time, it was against the law for people to teach slaves to read and write. So he had not only that, the trip to contend with, he had a literacy problem to contend with as well. So after arriving in Texas, after his 400-mile walk and swim, Jim was able to locate the plantation where Winnie was. Jim waited near a spring that he knew that he found out that his wife was going to come and draw water for her master. And could you just imagine the surprise, the overjoyedness that Winnie had when she heard her husband's voice again, called to her and said, Winnie. So Winnie secretly fed Jim for a number of weeks as Jim hid in the woods. And finally, they came up with what they thought was the solution. That Winnie and Jim would go to Winnie's master, who was a man named David Ford, who was believed to be a Methodist minister, and convinced him to buy Jim from his owner in Mississippi, which he did. Jim and Winnie had 6 more children after that. And after emancipation, received a parcel of land from Ford, who was Winnie's master at the time. But the ever-industrious Jim and Winnie were able to buy more land in 1867 and found the freedmen's community of Shankleville near the spring where they were reunited as husband and wife. The Shankles became the first African Americans in Newton County to own land and become community members or leaders. Shankleville eventually grew into a mostly self-sufficient farming community with a school, 2 stores, 3 churches, a blacksmith shop, cotton gin, grist mill, sawmill, serve mill. Haven't seen a serve mill, but I'm sure that they have those. And there was even a college there called McBride College that was founded by actually the Shankles' son-in-law, called McBride College, and it was in operation from 1883 to 1901. So this is I think it's a beautiful love story. Jim didn't give up on his vows, his love for his wife. He didn't give up. The 400 miles wasn't enough for him to give up. So this love story has some implications for us, hopefully. We shouldn't give up. We shouldn't give up on loving people. We shouldn't give up on caring for people. We shouldn't give up. And this story was about a man and a wife, and we love that. We love a good love story. Today, I'd also like to tell you that right here in Georgetown, we have the great grandson of Jim and Winnie Shank. Stand up, Al. Al Sanko, resident of Georgetown, and my twice removed third cousin, as we call each other. But I thought today would be a great time to bring out a love story. Al has in his possession, for some of y'all, they get over there soon enough, there's a little card. It's called A Great Love Story. It's actually a picture of what is this called? Al?
Historical marker.
Historical marker. That's there at Shankerville. And Shankerville is still operational today. It has there's about 50 families that still live there. So if you want one of these, see Al, the director center. Thank you guys so much. Want to thank everyone for all the love that's been expressed today. And I thank our elected officials for being here today on this occasion that means so much to a part of this community. And I thank you guys so much.